Thank you for having us today. So what do you do for a living?
Thank you for having me. I'm a marketing consultant, so I've worked in advertising, market research, all kinds of things, and right now I'm starting my own business in Chicago, working with small businesses and helping them grow.
How did you discover the French culture?
So I'm like a lot of Americans. Actually, I didn't study French at all. I studied Spanish for a long time, so I discovered French culture pretty late in my life. I was in my mid-20s and I was going to a fair where there were a lot of universities, and there was a school called HEC, Paris School of Management, and there was a woman there saying, hey, you should come to France, and that was the first time that I even considered it. And after that, I took one class, started learning the language, and I went finally to France in my late 20s to study my master's degree, and that's where I became fully immersed in the culture.
Have you ever studied abroad?
Yes, so I studied abroad 2 times before studying in France. In France, I actually studied at a school called HEC Paris, so HEC Paris School of Management. And in addition to studying there, I also was able to find an internship, and they were helpful with that. So I think what I learned is that at any age, you have a great capacity to learn. I went to France not speaking French at all. I was in my late 20s, and after 3 years, I was able to learn the language. So I stayed for other reasons, for love, for family, but I think anybody can learn at any age.
What is a cause close to your heart?
A cause close to my heart is women's rights and children's rights, particularly maternity leave. So in the United States, a lot of women never have the opportunity to spend time with their babies, and men either. So that's one of the things that I really appreciated about living in France, is I was able to see what life was really like in a country that had accepted this as a universal right for women and children.
What is your favorite place to visit in France?
Okay, first of all, France is a beautiful country, and there's so many places that you can go. There's the mountains, there's the beaches. But my favorite place to go is actually a place in Guadeloupe. It's in the western section called Basse-Terre, and there's a place with an old lighthouse, and it's just beautiful. And you can see some small islands off to the west. It's just a gorgeous place.
What is your favorite French food?
So when I was in France, I always have liked to cook, but I definitely learned some new skills in France, especially the importance of fresh herbs and crème fraîche. Everybody, you must taste crème fraîche. My favorite food is quiche, absolutely, and I love to make it, and I love to buy it, and I love to eat it at other people's houses.
What is such a French habit in your opinion?
Okay, some French habits that I noticed. Well, I'm just going to talk about one. French people will debate about anything. So they will debate about the best bakery. They will debate about traffic, minimum wage. It's really different than in the United States, where a lot of times we're taught you can't say this and that, especially at work. So, and then you also have very long lunches, like 1 or 2 hours, where everybody's just talking and having very healthy debates. So that to me is super French, and I actually started to adopt this habit myself the more and more integrated I became with the culture, and now I'm really comfortable with it and I love it.
What are you looking for next?
I have a lot of hopes for the future. In particular, I really hope that Americans and French people can better understand each other. I think we have a real language barrier that sometimes prevents these really interesting conversations that can happen. But I think that the more people that come from France and visit the United States, the more Americans that can go from the United States to visit or study in France, even if it's just for a few months. I think we can learn so much from each other, and it will help us be better thinkers and better citizens in our own countries.